Liam Paro is set to take on Richardson Hitchins on the 8th of December 2024. This one is going to be a good one. And recently they just had their face-off. So I want to analyze this face-off and break it down. And I also want to analyze Richardson Hitchins' style to see what Liam Paro needs to do to beat this guy. Let's dive in. After claiming the IBF junior welterweight title from Matthias, Liam Paro is set to defend his title for the first time against Richardson Hitchins. They recently had a face-off, so let's get into that and analyze it.
A pretty heavy underdog going up against Subriel Matthias. You come away with the win and your first world title. What do you think the public learned about you in that fight?
I've got grit. I'm a true warrior. I'll fight anyone, anywhere. And I'm not scared to face no challenge.
I think Liam Paro really put the division on notice after beating Matthias. That was a good fight from Liam Paro. He just stayed on his man the whole time and just kept active the whole time. And Matthias didn't know what to do with him because just how active he was, just the constant throwing punches, combinations, he just overwhelmed Matthias. That was a good performance by Liam Paro.
Knew going into that fight that you were the number one contender for the winner. What did you think of his performance?
Oh, I thought he came up with I don't think he came up with a brilliant game plan. I feel like he fought guys like that before, watching his past. It kind of was, Matthias was tailor-made for him. Made mistakes, obvious mistakes, he capitalized and continue with the game plan. Held, moved, box, simple boxing. It's like you could tell a kid in the street to do that. Hit him, boom, tie him up, pity pat him.
You've said a few times that you don't believe that Richardson believes in himself. You said the talk is kind of trying to convince himself. Why do you think that?
100%. You see, he's unstable. He's emotional on Twitter. That's where he has to try to sell to the people, but not just that, himself. To try to tell himself that he's got that X factor. But look, it's all it is. All we see is talks. No disrespect, you're a good boxer, but you stink out stadiums. None of your fights yet have proven that you are what you say you are. So December 7, meet me in the middle of the ring, don't run, and prove, not just to me, but to the world that you've got it.
To me, Hitchison comes off a bit nervous in this face-to-face. Liam Paro seems pretty relaxed. What that means come fight night, maybe not too much, but it is a mental game. We all know this. So you get the edge over your opponent early in the mental wall, then it makes it easier for you on the night. And in terms of the social media thing that he's talking about, I don't know what Hitchinson's been doing in his social media life and what he's been putting out there. But whenever you're putting yourself out there in the social media realm as a fighter, that really is just putting more pressure on you as well. And it sort of takes your focus away from training and actually just focusing on the fight and mentally just preparing just for the fight, because it can be a distraction. Whether it is, I don't know. And a lot of fighters seem to do it these days, so it seems to be the norm. So it is what it is.
You think I got here just by not having that X factor? You know my background as a fighter, as a boxer, I got a heavy pedigree, bro, from the amateurs. Yeah. I've been at the biggest stage in every, from 13 to 14, from 17 Olympia, and I'm gonna take a world title.
Okay.
I'm gonna take your title.
Okay.
You're gonna see us level.
Keep that energy. Like I said, give the Puerto Rican people what they deserve, a fight. Don't run. Show us.
You're gonna get in there, you're gonna be different.
Don't stink it out. They don't deserve that. The Puerto Rican people are proud people. Don't stink it out.
We already know what type of fight he wants.
I feel that Liam Paro is just sort of baiting him. And looking at Hitchinson's last fight, he didn't perform the best. And he did seem to hold a fair bit in that fight. I think he got clipped a couple of times and held on. It wasn't that impressive. It wasn't an impressive fight from Hitchison. And I think Liam's already setting up the trap, trying to bait him. Come on, meet me in the center of the ring type of thing, which if Hitchison does, then I think the advantage is to Liam Paro, because Hitchison, looking at his style, he's better off fighting on the outside, being the longer guy. He has a good jab, and picking people off is the way that he wins fights. He doesn't do his best work on the inside. Not saying he can't do good work on the inside, but his best work is from the outside. So Liam Paro has a better opportunity of beating this guy if he works on the inside. So there you go, he's just trying to bait him like, come on, meet me in the center of the ring. So the mental games are already starting.
What's that?
It sound like you want to brawl. We can brawl. If you ain't no brawler. You ain't never showed me you want to fight. You ain't never showed me to fight. You fight, you grab and hold.
We see how you went with Lemon.
Don't hit me behind the head, nigga.
If Richardson's going to do what he's saying he's going to do and make it a brawl, yeah, I just think that's not the smart move. He needs to fight on the outside with his style. Not saying that he can't win on the inside, but just his style, he's definitely better fighting on the outside. And I think Liam Paro has a better chance of winning if he's on the inside, if he's getting combinations, if he's getting in close, or even countering as well. Getting Hitchins to throw punches in close and countering him on the inside with combinations.
I took Alamo's though. I took
it don't matter. Listen, he dropped you. He damaged good. And he dropped you twice. And then look, I came in here when I fought Alamo a year after. I swear to God, bro, that was like being in the ring. It was a novice,
the
bro.
12% of people said that I won that fight.
What?
No, that was a close fight. Yes, but
why was it a split decision?
Why did 90% of the world say you lost to him?
No round versus me and Alamo was close.
Okay, I heard this whole thing about Alamos and Liam Paro's fight with him. I tried to look for footage of this fight, but I couldn't see anything. It was back in 2021, and I just can't seem to find any footage on it. I did see Hitchinson's fight with Alamo, and he did just dominate him, but in saying that, Alamo didn't do anything. And he fought the perfect fight for Hitchinson. He wasn't active, he just stayed on the outside and just let Hitchinson just pick him off all day until eventually I think his corner just had enough, and they were just like, there's no point of continuing. I don't know if it was the 10th or the 11th, but it was in the later stage of the fight, and they just retired in the corner. But it wasn't an impressive performance at all by Alamo. So that to me was just an easy win for Hitchins.
Yeah, 90% of the world seen that.
You thought I lost that fight?
I think so, yeah.
Oh man, you don't know shit about boxing.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, I've only seen the highlights of Hitchins versus Lemos, and it was definitely a close fight, and I could have seen it go either way. From the highlights, I could have seen it go either way, and I think Hitchins scraped by with that win. It was, to me, very close. But that's just going off the highlights, so I'd have to watch the whole fight to actually analyze and make a confident statement on who I thought won. But just going off the highlights, Hitchins may have lost, but yeah, it's hard to just go off highlights. So.
They talking about the Lemos fight. I lost 6 pounds a day before the fight. Before the fight, not before the weigh-in. 6 pounds a day before the fight. That was not the Richardson Hitchins. That was a hand injury. Fresh off. I had to bring a barber to wrap my hands. Had to do cortisone shots, all type of shit to my hand in camp. That was a one-handed fight, and that was even a complete meet. And I still was able to. I don't even feel like drag out the victory. I feel like I clearly won. You watch the fight. By the 7th, 8th round, you hear you guys commentating saying Hitchins is totally in control. He's totally in control. Lemos land one punch in the 8th round. I weathered the storm halfway through the fight. I dig him out, hit him to the body, catch him, hurt him too, make it into a fight. 9th round, got myself back together. 10th, 11th, 12th, went off with the victory. But they trying to say I lost the fight. That's what I'm saying. People don't know about boxing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like what? Bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, if you feel like that's you're not Lemos.
We go back to levels. I'm levels above Lemos, no disrespect. So we're going to see, exactly right. Okay. So bring the same energy, like I said. Meet me in the middle of the ring. Show the world that you've got this X factor that you talk about. Show us.
Being in the middle of the ring? What's the X factor?
Just show us your X factor. You say all this and that, but none of your fights have shown that. None of your fights have shown nothing. My last 3 fights.
What?
3 fights. You were scared to fight. You're scared to fight, bro. My last fight. My opponent, you're not one.
You're a boxer.
Well, we'll see.
You gotta be in a boxer. Don't discredit you. You're not a brawler. You're a boxer, bro.
We'll see.
What are you talking?
I don't think any of them are brawlers, but as I mentioned, I do think that Liam Paro does have the advantage if they fight on the inside, or if they meet in the center of the ring, or go to make it a so-called brawl fight. I think, yeah, Liam Paro has the edge in that scenario. So still, Liam just trying to bait him.
He clearly wants you to stand and fight, to meet in the center of the ring. Mm-hmm. Is that a wise tactical move for a fighter like you?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't ever been down. Rate Drain Hitchins been hit by a guy that's coming off 12, 13 knockouts straight. Been hit. I ain't go down. He's been down by a guy. I fought the same guy. I didn't feel I don't know in what world this man hit you and floored you, and I seen it too. I don't know how that man put you down. So I want to see where you're at. Okay. They all said you say stay in the middle of the ring. It don't matter. My jaw was strong 4 years ago, and it's strong right now. But I'm gonna tell you, you say stay in the middle ring. When I hit you with this shit, you be able to take it. you better be able to take it. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Because I know I can take a punch. I swear, if anything I could do, I know for
Tell me
sure
you're
I
gonna
can
be
punch.
with your single-digit knockout ratio. Let's do it. Let's go. Should be able to give it back. That's the way it is. Let's go.
Hitchins might have not been knocked out before. Fair enough. I think he did get hurt in his last fight, but he also doesn't have outstanding power either. So what Liam Paro is saying is right. Like, he doesn't, see what you can bring with your single-digit knockout ratio. He's a good boxer. He knows how to box, but I don't think he has that real deadly power at all. And I think the way that he fights best is just constantly picking guys off and using that long jab. But he also can be a bit predictable with a lot of his straight shots and his jab, constant one jab, double jab right hand. He can be a bit repetitive, and I think Liam Paro can see openings. But we'll have a look at Hitchinson's last fight and analyze it a bit.
We're here to fight.
What did you think of the Lemos fight?
Look, I thought he can't handle the pressure. 100%. And obviously the 10-pound rule, you've said it yourself. You don't like the rehydration clause. This is what it is. So I hope you're doing weight properly. I don't want no excuse. I want the best Hitchins. 100%. I hope that's what I'm going to get.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to make sure that ain't going to be a factor.
Perfect.
That Lemos fight.
Don't tell us. Just show me. Don't tell us shit.
I wasn't even going to do the rehydration.
Whatever it
I was
is.
going to do it on yesterday. Just come in whatever.
It still obviously eats you up inside.
They saying, nah, come on. You got to make the rehydration clause. I said, fuck, I'm going to just lose 6 pounds tonight. My coach right here, I did got into a fist fight with my coach the day before the fight.
It's in the past. Leave it there. But this guy, don't have no excuses.
He gonna find out.
No excuses. No. Who cares?
Yeah, I like Liam Paro and how he's sort of taking charge of this face-off. He is just saying, yep, okay, just don't care. I don't care what your excuses are, because it does sound like Hitchins is trying to deliver a lot of excuses in terms of what happened with that fight. But if he won it so dominantly as he claims, then there's no point in making an excuse. So maybe in his mind he does think, oh, I do need to prove myself in a way, because maybe I wasn't 100% positive that I actually won that fight. I don't know. But if you're making up an excuse, there's no excuses. There's nothing that you can, and there's no point in making excuses. If you had won the fight and you think that you had won the fight dominantly, then don't even mention anything that may have been a disadvantage in the fight.
He does make a point that you talked about in the past, which is that 10-pound rehydration clause has been an issue for you in the past. You've talked about it. Have you resolved that issue?
I mean, like I said, when I fought Alamo, I didn't like it, but I felt whatever during the fight. I just never, like, I was making weight just like every other fight, just going to make weight, eating whatever I want to eat. So
it sounds like he's struggling to answer this question. So maybe that has hit a nerve a little bit, and maybe weight is an issue with him. He is the taller fighter, he is the longer fighter, so maybe he does struggle to make weight. From what we've heard in the last fight, he obviously did. If he had to lose 6 pounds or whatever it was the day before the fight, or whenever it was, on the day of the fight. So that could be an issue for him, and it sounds like he's struggling to answer this question. So we'll see what happens. And I think Liam Paro has the right approach to this as well, because if Liam Paro does come away with it, then he can point out that he mentioned, I don't want any excuses. Like, don't, make sure that you're good to go. Like, don't come out afterwards, especially if you've lost, and say, oh, but I had to lose this weight, but the rematch clause, but this, but that. I think he just wants it to be a fair fight, and then there's no excuses, and then if whoever wins, if Liam Paro wins, then he can claim that over Hitchins and just point out, I told you, don't, like, no excuses. Make sure that you're good to go. I want the best of you. So it's a good tactic. Unless Liam Paro loses, then he just has to say no excuses from me.
In the last few weeks, kind of a one-trick pony. Do you think this is going to be an easy fight for you?
I mean, I never know. They get in there, and it could be. Now I'm talking about every fight I've been in as a professional really been easy. The only blemish or it was the last fight, and I know why. Like, every fight, really, these guys is really simple. If Liam was on a different level, I'll see. The world is hyping Liam up because he beat Matias. Liam know he seen that style over and over. Liam know that was not like nothing. It wasn't rocket science to beat Matias. My only thing when I was like, yo, let me take my time on Matias because of the IBF clause. I know the paces Matias is bringing it. I know I'm in my head like, all right, let me.
Because you got self-doubt, is that why?
I said, look. I said, yo, let me make sure that I'm comfortable with this. But like I said, I never hired a nutritionist, never did none of this. I was
So it sounds like Hitchins is kind of admitting to what Liam Paro is accusing him of. with dodging Matthias from what he's saying there. So it kind of doesn't add up to me. Did you dodge him or not? Was the fight offered and you turned it down or not? What is it? You weren't sure? You weren't sure about your weight? I don't know. But if he's talking about Matthias and not fighting him, then it sounds like he did dodge him.
You new to the IBF. I was just a pro. Make weight, you fight. Now this is something I'm used to. I already know how to go about it. Like I said, none of that is going to be a factor. The IBF, none of that shit is going to be a factor. I'm going to get in there, we're going to fight.
Perfect, no excuses.
And that's it.
Best man wins. That's it, no excuses.
No excuses.
Perfect. Leave it like that.
Even with
Perfect.
excuses, I still put the W.
Okay.
So Liam, how does this fight end?
With my hand raised, God willing, and still.
And the new Hitchins is back.
December 7th, title on the line, undefeated record.
Okay, I want to take a look at Hitchins' last fight against Lemos.
A good opening round for Lemos. Let's see if he can build on it. And Hitchins is in a fight.
Yes, he is. And if he's not going to catch and counter, Lemos going to keep punching, going to keep building points.
So that was a good tactic, I think, of how to fight Hitchins, is to try and cut the ring off, try and get him into the corner where he has nowhere else to go. Because he does have good foot movement. He is good at working on the outside. He is good with the jab. He just, I think, can be predictable a bit, especially throwing the one-off jab a fair bit. And predictability with just, he's going to throw a lot of straight punches. He's going to throw the one-off jab. Every now and then he's going to double jab right hand. Every now and then he's going to throw the 1-2. And then a lot of single jabs. So it's just a matter of not letting him stay on the outside, and when you're coming forward, to keep coming forward and then cut off the ring as well, I think.
Getting bold and building points.
The danger, the jab of Hitchins is a very effective punch.
You can see Hitchins trying to keep that distance. That one single jab, using the ring, try not to cut off.
In between the shots, because he's so short and stocky. See, guys that are like that, they know how to fight small, and it actually works in their favor to be a little bit short.
See, and this is what I'd be looking at if I was Liam Paro. This is a good way of fighting him. Is trying to close that distance. He has to close that distance. He can't let Hitchins stay on the outside and continue to throw those single jabs, because then he's just gonna build up rounds and win the fight that way.
I think the reason Hitchins is not jabbing is because of that. There's no target, being given by a stocker fighter.
Oh, see, good shot there. That caught him. He got tagged. And that's what he wants to do there with the counter. See that nice counter? That's what he wants. That's what Liam Paro wants to do. See, and that counter shot, the counter shot's going to be open all day for Liam Paro with the single jabs. Hitchins does have quick reflexes, and he's good at throwing the jab and then using his footwork to get out. But if you're constantly trying to use those counter shots when you can, and they're quick enough, you'll catch him. And using those counters as he's throwing the jab to counter him, he'll have nowhere to go.
Tells them that Lemos is. And there's a right hand for Lemos.
And there's that sneaky right hand, Clarissa, you're talking about. Even when Hitchins is landing his shots, he has to be aware of the overhand right.
You got to keep that left hand up.
That Lemos is trying to land. There it is right there.
He seems to be open with that overhand right, because he doesn't bring that jab back to his chin all the time. So if you're constantly throwing and you're not getting out of there, and you're not prepared to use your footwork to get out fast or bring your hand back to try and stop a counter, then you're going to get caught. Oh, he caught him. See, 8th round, he's hurt.
Let's see if Lemos can take advantage. Hitchins just grabbing on. Body shot.
Stop. There's stop.
And another thing Paro would be looking at as well is how he responds when he's hurt. So if Paro does hurt him, how's he going to respond? And we now know, after looking at this fight, that he just holds on and keeps holding on. So being able to throw punches, step back, throw punches, and actually try and land punches in the clinch constantly while he's trying to hold, whether coming up the middle or around the outside, that's going to be another tactic that Paro would use if he hurts him. That's if he hurts him. But hey, he might not even hurt him throughout the whole fight. But yes, looking at both fighters, in terms of Hitchins, he's going to have to use the outside. He's not going to want to fight in close unless he starts having a lot of success on the outside and feels that he's confident enough to work on the inside from time to time. But if I was him, I wouldn't be fighting this fight on the inside. It's not a smart move, especially his style. And for Paro, I think he just has to make sure that Hitchins doesn't fight the whole fight from the outside. He's going to try and fight it from the outside. Paro is going to have to use his counters and those quick counters as well. So you know he's going to throw a lot of jabs. So you have to try and counter off those jabs. Hitchins can be predictable in terms of what punches he throws. He does throw a lot of straight shots and doesn't always bring his hands back to his chin. So there'll be many opportunities for Paro to catch him with a counter. But then Paro, I think, also has to keep the fight close, mid-range or in close, and just continue to put the pressure on him. Because just like he did to win the world title, he just has to maintain that pressure throughout the fight. When Hitchins is retreating on the back foot, follow him all the way, follow him quickly, keep on your guy. And then when he tries to go on the outside, cut off the ring. If you get him in the corner, that's where you want him, obviously. But either way, this I think is going to be a good fight. It's a clash between one fighter that I think has to keep it on the outside and the other fighter who I think has to keep it close to mid-range. So it's going to be an entertaining fight. Anyway, December 7 if you're in the States and December 8 in Australia. I'm looking forward to this one, and I'll most likely do a live stream, of course, because I really enjoy doing live streams. They're great. As always, what are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you think's going to win? How do you think they're going to win? What do they have to do to win? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, peace out.
Myths in boxing, highlight reels mean. Front row seats to the blow by blow scene.